Hello and welcome to Trading with Rob. I'm Rob and this is the daily markup for the DAX 40 on Wednesday the 8th of October 2025. So overall we had a bull trend channel from the open and we ended up closing very close to the high of the day, making it a strong bull trend day. We had a small gap down of only about 4.5 points from yesterday's close, shown by the solid red line, to the open of today, indicated by the dashed green line. We've got yesterday's open and yesterday's high also marked, as well as the 5-minute, 20 period moving exponential average and the 60-minute, 20 period exponential moving average, shown as the blue and solid blue and dash blue lines respectively. So to start the day, we had a couple of overlapping bars on the open, indicative of trading range, price action, poor follow through, overlapping bars, tails above and below. Potentially could have suggested that the day was less likely to have a strong bull or be a strong trend day, but these bars testing yesterday's open, the EMAs, and closing the gap, small opening gap, might not be totally representative, so move on. We then had 3 consecutive strong bull bars. These bull bars were breaking above the EMAs and the open from yesterday. The bars were getting bigger. It's part of it is a 3-bar bull microchannel setup, meaning that high prices are likely, and it went on to become part of a 6-bar bull microchannel. So very strong buying, closing above the opening 2 bars, high prices expected. Next obvious target is yesterday's high, which obviously the price went to and formed a wedge top. Consecutive bull bars again in the third leg of the wedge top, but these bull bars were decreasing in size, showing a loss of momentum going into the resistance area of yesterday's high, and then micro double top, going to a couple of wedge legs down / a wedge, testing towards the 60-minute EMA and testing towards the breakout point above the opening 2 bars. The market then found buyers forming a strong tail below the bar and eventually closing above the 5-minute EMA. By connecting these two, the opening low and the low at the bottom of this wedge, can project forward and create a bull trend channel, which then can be copied and dragged across to get an idea of where the channel may lie, give an indication of how prices might react. And then we can move forward again, another wedge top, consecutive higher double tops, but there is no strong breakout at this stage, so can't really say that higher prices are likely at this point, and it's better to wait for a stronger breakout, which obviously came a little bit later. Consecutive strong bull bars breaking up from the 5-minute EMA and also breaking above the highs, moving on from the earlier in the day. Higher prices are still likely, but these bars are very large and it's a bit later in the bull trend, so might be more climactic, exhaustive, so might be expecting a small pause in the buying before continuing. Then had a small pullback, again testing the 5-minute EMA, around 50% of the move up, and a continuation, finding buyers again and forming a higher high double top before pulling back again, and then forming a second higher high double top and a wedge top. Then a pullback to below the EMA and the trend channel. It's the first close below the EMA for several hours, and it indicates that the price, the channel is starting to weaken, but also we have to remember that the first pullback below the EMA after such a long time with price above the EMA is likely to be bought, and so the pullback's likely to fail. Well, after a small pullback from this, there was then a second leg and formed a two-legged pullback, testing below the 5-minute EMA. Then had a series of consecutive strong bull bars breaking again above the 5-minute EMA with follow through. It's likely that the day is going to, but it is getting late into the day. Downside is obviously, well, likely to be limited, but these bars again are quite climactic, so upside might also be limited. And we went into a small tight trading range which formed a wedge top with a couple of consecutive double tops. If we then look at the best stop order buys and sells for the day, first buy is probably upon the breakout above the opening 2 bars, 3 consecutive strong bull bars closing above yesterday's open and the high of the day. Very likely to see higher prices, with the first target being the high of yesterday. Can continue buying, and then once there's more consecutive strong bull bars, it's likely that these that higher prices are again going to show. It's okay to buy above these as long as you can use appropriate stop locations, preferably below the bottom of the either the 3 bars themselves or below the full channel up. Then as the wedge top has formed, maybe looking for a second entry. We're testing the yesterday's high resistance area, and once there's a couple of strong bear bars, it's reasonable to sell below them. But once prices start to be rejected and be maintained above the 5-minute EMA, starting to look for a second leg up of the initial move up earlier in the day. So start to buy back those positions or exit and go long. Then once we start to break out of the small trading range here and breaking out above the prior highs with follow through, we're starting to look to buy again, expecting higher prices, and then buying back on pullbacks. Again, about a 50% pullback. It's maintaining a relatively large gap between the breakout point and the pullback point, so higher prices are still likely. Buying again, looking for initially for a test of the high, and hopefully higher prices, maybe on a measured move up based on the breakout here, and then continuing to buy up. When we have the first close below the 5-minute EMA, it's reasonable to buy it, but again, possibly looking for a reasonable stop location, maybe a little bit wider given the pause in the market up until this point, and then buying above the 2-leg pullback, testing below the 5-minute EMA. And going into the end of the day, this range is too tight to really expect much, and buying up here high above the prior highs of the day, it's probably a bit late in the day to be doing that. So overall, this is the full market with all of the buy locations and the full markup. I'd like to thank you for watching, and if you have any questions or comments, please feel free to leave them below. Thank you.